Muster 0063 back again for Mega Man 3's version of the pain in the arse Robomaster convention. Mega Man 2 had Air and Quick, Mega Man 3 has Needle and Shadow. And if life has taught me anything, is you should always avoid a ninja for as long as it humanly can. So first up, it's Needle. First enemy we encounter, the somewhat cutely named Hairy Harry. Hedgehogs that fire off their spines in 5 directions. If you're on the same level as them, then if you pummel away at them, you'll be able to take them out before they fire off any spines. If not, unless you're quite skilled, you might find that you've managed to take them out before they shoot their spines. If enough time elapses so that the hedgehogs fire 2 sets of spines, they'll curl up into a ball and roll across the floor, at which point you can no longer attack them, and then repeat the same pattern. This next room is full of cannon-type enemies, imagined to be called cannons, Mets, which fire 3 pellet shots before scurrying sideways across the floor, and the Yambo we saw in Gemini's stage. All are very unintimidating, particularly the cannons, which take a while to shoot out their pink balls after opening up, so if you're quick enough you can kill them before they even get a chance to fire. The fact that the terrain is so uneven here is a really big help in faking out the Yambo, to a height that you're not going to remain at for very long, so you don't even need to worry about either shooting them or jumping over them. Then the screen is full of needles, perfectly enough for the stage, giant ones which protrude from the ceiling for a short time. A little bit of careful timing is required because you often can't just be right up close to one and sail through. You have to make your move when you're a bit further away, but I don't generally find it all that troublesome. One lone Hairy Harry here, but it's probably the most irritating one on the entire stage because of where it's positioned. Unless you're extraordinarily speedy, it will curl up into a ball, roll at you, and you have to time a jump over it to the higher ledge and quickly move out of the way of its next spine attack. That isn't easy to pull off. A couple of Hammer Joes, the first being the slightly more awkward one to get by, but if you remember you can slide under the hammers as they throw, or you can be somewhat cowardly and hide out on the ladder while taking them out. Don't panic, and they shouldn't get in your way. Third stage, remember, the Bicky is the final enemy before the boss gate, but it starts out at the very right hand edge of the screen, and again, it's very non-threatening. So, with the stage taking less than 2 minutes to get through, that brings us to Needleman. I bet you've been looking forward to this fight, am I right? Needleman has 3 attacks. The first is his sideways jumping. Yeah, you heard me, I'm calling his jumping an actual attack. It's very fast, very unpredictable in terms of how far he's going to jump, and he's not at all shy about jumping right at you, even if that means to do so he has to travel from one extreme edge of the room to the other. The second is his protruding head needle, which he'll fire off when he's standing still on the floor. I tend to find he's more likely to do his move when he's in close proximity to you, but there's absolutely no guarantee of that. His third attack is to jump in the air and fire 4 needles at you. Depending on where you're positioned, they can be buggering annoying to dodge, obviously more so if you're near to him. All his attacks are super fast, and as far as I can determine, Needleman doesn't have any kind of a tell with regard to which attack he's going to use. The only things I've been able to ascertain is that he won't just jump twice in a row, he will at least do 1 of the 2 needle attacks before just jumping again, and that he won't protrude his head needle in 2 successive moves either. But other than that, he's an enigma. He can, for instance, jump and fire off needles as many times in a row as he wants. 1 hit on me there, damn, so close to an accidental perfect run. My extensive troubles, I get Needle Cannon. Works just like the Mega Buster, only with needles, and also Rush Jet. Yep, the 2 hardest stages, in theory, to perfect run are the ones with the Rush adapters as prizes for clearing. Shadow has Rush Marine. But would you believe me if I said this level wasn't too bad to perfect run? No? Okay. Would you believe me if I said, although bad, I can actually perfect run it? Still no? Oh, ye of little faith. Yep, I have managed it, and I'm mighty pleased about it, if you don't mind me saying. I might as well state something up front. The stage is not exactly the most threatening obstacle to a successful perfect run. You all know where the main problem lies. Despite this, the stage wasn't completely an outtake free zone. I messed up once in that very first room, and so I was rather quick in taking out the first Hairy Harry on this run. Well, once I was trying to be too quick for my own good, and while jumping to take out one of them, I jumped too high, straight into the leftward horizontal moving spine. Now, I stated earlier, although still not all that threatening, the Mets, which are by the way the least bad of a bad bunch on this screen, hit me a couple of times. The occasional missed shot or too early shot so that it bounces off their shell is bound to happen eventually, and when you do that, expecting to have killed the thing, you often won't then react in time to the pellets coming your way. The giant needles weren't without their annoyances either. A couple of failures here, although I have to say, both times I do feel wonky hitboxes screwed me over, and that I was well past the reach of the damn things. Apparently not by the game standards though. This I mentioned as being the most irritating placed enemy in the stage, and my perfect run attempts ball that out. The 3 remaining stage outtakes were failing to pull off this trigger minute looks jump manoeuvre. Also be careful when climbing the ladder, watch out for any leftward diagonal spines heading in your direction. Sliding under and jumping over the hammers respectively is how I like to take out Get By the Joes, but you can easily employ other strategies. There's plenty of room to work with. And frankly, Vicky might as well not even be here, given the initial distance between you and it. Unlike, say, Top or Magnet, sadly the same can't be said about Needleman. As mentioned, he's very fast and very unpredictable, and each Mega Buster shot only does 1 damage to him as well, so 28 hits to kill him. I do however seem to have hit upon a technique which works a good proportion of the time when it comes to dodging what the majority of people would probably call his most threatening attack, the 4 Needles. It's as simple sounding as jumping the first 2 and ducking the last 2. Now, I don't claim it to be foolproof, and any strategy you try to employ might have to be on an attack-by-attack basis, depending on how far away you are from Needleman. But all things being equal, this is the best way I could find to dodge those 4 Needles. I employed the same general strategy during the Let's Play part, and only got hit for once. For some reason, the 4th Needle did not go over Mega Man's head on that occasion, so again, not foolproof, but I really can't see anything better. A so-penned Nightmare Robot Master stage perfect run. And if you remember from my Airman video, that means he certainly isn't going to be getting a 10 from me. Just how high will the rating be though? Well, this only, I say only, took 1 hour and 25 minutes to achieve. That's way less time than I thought it would take. To be honest, when I started the level off, I had my doubt as to whether I'd be able to do it at all. That thinking was due to the Robot Master. As you can see, the makeup of the outtakes somewhat illustrate that. 34 in total, 26 of them on Needleman, which I'm not going to lie, is a lot. A good proportion of those were, however, well before I stumbled upon the technique I've described for dodging the 4 Needle attack, and thus stumbling into a fight I had no idea how best to deal with. The technique itself seems so simple, and leaves me scratching my head a little as to what took me so long to notice it. But factoring in others' experiences in trying to perfect run this Robot Master, on the flip side, makes me feel rather pleased with myself that I only, again, curious use of the word only, got hit 26 times to Needleman. Although not a breeze, the stage is reasonably easy. Only the last Hairy Harry is worth mentioning as being any significant obstacle, and it's also pretty short too. No doubt that it's the Robot Master who elevates the difficulty. I never found myself all that angry with this stage. I'll freely admit I wasn't that happy either, but this, for some reason, did not frustrate me as much as many other stages did. Based on my experience perfect running this stage, I give Needleman a 7 out of 10, principally for the high number of outtakes on Needle himself. Despite 26 of them, I wouldn't rank this stage overall as high as Wood, who got an 8 incidentally. And in all honesty, if I went back to try to do this again, I'd be disappointed with anything more than 10 outtakes on Needleman, now that I've nailed down what appears to be a pretty good strategy. And if that were the case, this stage would be getting something like a 5 out of 10 tops. But, based purely on the data above, 5 is too low, and 7 out of 10 seems about right. Since that turned out to be easier than I had anticipated, I was looking forward to tackling our last remaining Robot Master, Shadow Man, with a renewed sense of optimism. I really don't know why. Tune in next time to find out how that turned out for me. Until then, cheerio.